What up? It's your boy Wall Street, and I'm back. And today, breaking news in the NBA: Kevin Durant has been traded to the Houston Rockets. And this is pretty crazy. I mean, it was expected. We knew he was probably going to get traded at some point. It was the worst kept secret in the league. Kevin Durant was 99% sure that he was not going to be on the Phoenix Suns to start next season. And here we are. He is now a member of the Houston Rockets. The trade is obviously not official yet, but the news broke today. But the trade details are as follows. Kevin Durant is being shipped out by the Phoenix Suns to the Houston Rockets in exchange for Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the number 10 pick in the 2025 NBA draft, and 5 second-round picks. I personally think this is a good move for Phoenix. I'm kind of uncertain on how this works for the Rockets personally, right? And I think, the Rockets were not big on isolation ball. They weren't big on playing the mid-range and stuff like that. So Kevin Durant obviously helps them in that category, right? But does that really get you over the hump to win a championship, right? You just trade away Jalen Green, who's, one of the top 3 players on your roster. You just had one of the best seasons you've had since James Harden was a member of the Rockets. Like, I'm not on board with this whole situation of teams having like the best season that they have in, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, right? And then they immediately go and trade, one of the key pieces to that team. So this is a gamble for Houston, no doubt about it. You're giving up that draft pick that was originally Phoenix's anyway, so Phoenix gets their pick back. But you're putting a lot of hope into Kevin Durant, who is going to be like 37, I think, at, the beginning of this coming season. So he's also on a 1-year deal. He's eligible to sign a 2-year extension, but, there's a possibility that he might, not sign that extension. Who knows? And even if he does, at that point, he's going to be 39 by the time that contract expires. He's probably not going to have a ton of trade value to recoup, right? But being the Rockets, you just traded Jalen Green, who was your number 2 pick, a few seasons back. So, and I know a lot of people have been giving Jalen Green a lot of flack. He didn't show up as much as people want him to in the playoffs. He really did not have a great performance against the Golden State Warriors. But I don't know. I think I'm being a little too harsh just because, the Suns traded for KD and we all thought that was going to be a championship level team. And look at what happened. They didn't even make the play-in last season. So I don't know if I'm ready to say that the Houston Rockets are in a better position than they were yesterday, right? Because I think before this trade, they were in a really good position. They had a ton of young talent. They still do have a ton of young talent, right? They still have Amen Thompson. They still have Alperen Sengun. They still have Reed Shepherd. They still have all these guys, Jabari Smith Jr. There's a ton of talent on that roster. And obviously Amen Thompson can take over the real defensive leadership portion that I guess was really put on Dillon Brooks' shoulders, as Dillon Brooks will now go to Phoenix. But, I don't know, man. I'm kind of at this point in my basketball viewership career, after seeing KD go to the Warriors and then going to the Nets, and everyone's saying, oh, the Nets are going to win a championship with Kyrie and James Harden, and then the Nets just did not. They kind of just fell flat on their face. And then he goes to Phoenix, similar situation. Anthony Edwards swept them, the season prior to this, where, it just seems like every time Kevin Durant gets sent somewhere, there's these really high expectations that team's now going to win a championship. And I don't think that's what's going to happen anymore, to be completely honest. I think OKC is still better. Now that I think Houston's odds have jumped to be the second best odds to win the title next season. Now they've acquired Kevin Durant. And, I don't know. I mean, frankly, Houston just had to give up the pick this year, and then they gave up 5 second-round picks. So they're not really giving up a ton of draft capital. So if this trade really doesn't pan out, it's not like they're just screwed for the rest of time, right? Phoenix really is going to have a tough time because they need young players, right? So the fact that they were able to get back the number 10 overall pick in this year's draft, they got Jalen Green, who's a young up-and-coming player in this league. They have Dillon Brooks now, who could really instill a hard-nosed defensive culture in their team. I think it's a move in the right direction, right? So I don't really know what I could grade this trade at this point in time, but I think it's going to be an interesting team, regardless, in Houston, right? And I think it's going to be an interesting team in Phoenix as well. I honestly would not be surprised if Phoenix has a better season this year than they did last year, right? Because I think Devin Booker and Jalen Green, that's going to be an interesting combo. But who knows? Devin Booker might be on the way out as well. So nobody really knows what's going on right now. But this is definitely the biggest blockbuster trade that we've had as of late. And everyone was kind of wondering who's going to get traded first, KD or Giannis. There's a likelihood that Giannis also does not get traded from Milwaukee, right? We all knew Kevin Durant was probably going to get moved somewhere, and it's now happened, and Kevin Durant is now a member of the Houston Rockets. So very interesting trade. I think this helps the Suns more than it helps the Rockets, but we'll see. But I want to know what you guys think, man. What do you think about this Kevin Durant trade? Do you think the Rockets are a team that has improved via this trade? Do you think they are a team that can seriously contend for a title next season with Kevin Durant on the roster? And what do you think about the Suns? Do you think the Suns improved from this trade? And do you think they're going to improve over last season with Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks now on their roster? So let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to catch you guys later, man. Stay up, stay blessed, stay safe, stay humble, handle business, stand on business. Peace out.